Two brothers convicted of the brutal murders of their parents are one step closer to leaving prison. Los Angeles District Attorney is recommending Eric and Lyle Menendez's life sentences be thrown out. The brothers were convicted in the 1989 killings of their parents at the family's Beverly Hills mansion. A parole board must approve the siblings' release. The final stop is Governor Gavin Newsom, who could reject the board's decision. Queen City News Chief Legal Analyst Khalif Rhodes is here to break all this down for us. But Khalif, let's start with this. What brought us to this point that we are right now?
A district attorney that's able and open to hearing. I mean, the pleas for them to have a new trial, or at least their trial to sentence to be overturned and thrown out, has been echoing for the last few years. Probably kick-started with celebrity status of Kim Kardashian pushing and asking for their release. You add that with a Netflix special or two Netflix specials, and then you add that with their attorneys saying that there's new evidence. So it was a combination of things. But even if you have those combination of things, if you don't have a DA's office that's willing and open to hearing this, it won't go past their office. And so the DA talked about he really didn't make his decision until an hour before he had the press conference. He said because there was even a conflicting view of opinion within his own office of should they go forward with allowing and requesting the judge to re-examine and look at this case. And so it took a lot of things to happen.
And the new evidence was?
The new evidence, there was a letter that was written that talked about the allegations of sexual abuse and misconduct from the father, not just towards the brothers, but to another relative. And so there was a pattern that was established, I guess more believable to say that what they were alleging at the time of the trial, because remember, they had two trials. This case captivated the country. I mean, this was before there was viral, before there was internet. Everyone was glued in. You're talking about 35 years ago. All we had was one television, and you were watching this. A couple right after that, O.J. Simpson. And so multiple types of cases like this were happening. And then you had the one that we just talked about. And so followed by all of these things happening, but it was a different time back then. The way that we looked at sexual abuse victims, the way we used that information for mitigating the types of sentences, it just wasn't a thing back then. It was there, but it wasn't there.
I want to talk about another case because many people are comparing this case to that of Gypsy Rose. She is the woman who was released from prison 3 years early after murdering her mother, who allegedly put her through years of abuse by convincing her that she was sick when she wasn't. So are these cases comparable, or are there some big differences here?
I think they're apples to apples, but then they're also apples to oranges. The timing of them, if her case would have happened in the 90s, in the late 80s or the early 90s, I think she would have done exactly the same thing these folks are doing, 35 plus years in prison without any likelihood of parole. But I think the timing of it was a difference. Again, the way we look at the victims, the mitigation is what we call it. You present a mitigation case specifically that they've been sexually abused or some type of drug abuse or anything that's happened, and then you're asking the court, if they are found guilty, to lower their sentence specifically because of the severity of the abuse. That's what happened in her case. It took time for it to happen, obviously not as much time. In the Menendez case, they presented it in the first trial. There was a mistrial because the jury couldn't come to an agreement. What happened in the second trial, most of that information was withheld. It was excluded. It wasn't even brought in to evidence. And so that's why they were convicted, because a lot of that stuff was taken off the table for sure. So I think this case is a good example of how we have progressed with the way we view what happens to people in those situations.
It'll be interesting to see what the outcome will be in this one as well. Khalif, thank you.